listening to Regal Radio.
Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit, from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried out loud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
We're in the area. We'll come west from Chambers Street. Over. Locate, but do not approach. Suspect at arms. Repeat, arms. All units from DCI radio.
755 East 80th Street. 755 East 80th Street. Tiffany Miles said Mel Black was following her. She's dark complexion and heavy set wearing dark clothes. He's hiding in the doorway across the street.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight on the Felix Smith Show, I'm going to be discussing the relationship between real-life superheroes and law enforcement, or the police. Those marvelous people who try to keep your city streets safe. Now, I have always been a supporter of my local police. My local beat policeman, Officer Brimble, comes round every Christmas with a Christmas card from the station. He's a delightful fellow. Yet I constantly see people on the internet complaining about their police, mainly in foreign countries, that their police can be rather rough or harsh at times, even corruptible at times, which I must confess is rather disturbing. I will be discussing a lot more on the subject after this next song, and one of our, how should I say, he's becoming quite the regular on this show, young Matsuda Yuma, the costumed activist, with his opinion on the police.
Do 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 girl 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 do do girl do do. As I walk through this world, nothing can stop the Duke of Earl. And you are my girl, and no one can hurt you. Oh no, yes I my Duchess of Earl. We'll walk through my dukedom, and the paradise we will share. Yes, I'm gonna love you. Oh, nothing can stop me now, 'cause I'm the Duke of Earl. So do
thank you, Felix. This is your Black Widow here to talk about relations between RLSH and police. Though I'm not an RLSH myself at all, but I do wear a costume or an outfit, whatever choice I wear, and I do like to help people. So let's further elaborate of, the relationship between either just RLSH and police in general, or just myself. I don't know who else to refer to this one. So let's start it from the top. Well, I do a lot of, I do join this charity cosplayer, so it kind of gives me a free pass most of all of the day to patrol and do what needs to be done, help the homeless and be there for my community. And it usually all depends on the police officers that I run into and just the police counties in general. Though I live in the 7 cities, which are in the Tidewater of Virginia area, which are Richmond and Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Newport News, all those Hampton Roads, basically, all those Williamsburg, all what you almost hear. Now, with my relationships with them, I don't know if it's just just RLSH or just mine, but it's kind of okay to moderate. Usually, if I am just by myself, it all depends. Usually, the police will crack down on me because, believe it or not, states we have a mask law. So people, in our area, in our state, can't really wear a mask like I would. So they're usually either forced to take their mask off. So that's what makes it a really, really bummer. And depending on what police you go to, some may support your work and some are just, some may support your work, but then, and some just, I ain't gonna go abide by it. They just gonna, not really support you in any way possible. They'd rather you join them than you be in your own free will and, do your own thing and helping the people out, For us, this is not a job. This is just, our lifestyle, for what I see it. Helping people, those in need, without somebody telling us, oh yeah, you gotta do this and that. We actually have the free time instead of getting reported for protocol. And that's, one of those things. So I guess it all depends. Some states are different. Some I can go to a state where this and I'll be totally fine. And so it's really nothing wrong with me helping people out. So, I guess with the relationship with the police, they have me, do these type of things. It's just the mask that gets everyone because they're claiming 9/11 claims. I was like, you do realize that was in New York and not in Virginia, right? Then on top of that, a lot of, burglaries and all this other stuff in the mask, so it kind of ruins me. Which sucks, but hey, I just gotta do whatever I can, to help out the community and tell them that some people are masked, aren't as bad as you think it is. So still giving out the chance to prove them wrong. So, little steps at a time. Little steps at a time. Eventually, we all get there. So, this is, from Matsuda Yuma, Black Widow. And thank you again, Felix, for, letting people hear me out. So, back to you.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Gene Chandler with Duke of Earl. And of course, young Matsuda Yuma. Now, Matsuda made a lot of good points. When certain people speak about the police service, they seem to think that police officers are one single entity. They forget that they are individual people with different minds, different hearts, and different aims. One can't tar them with the same brush. They are people, just like you and I. Some are good, some are bad, and some are quite in the grey. I do think it's important for real-life superheroes, if going out disguised, make themselves known to the police, tell them their meaning, what they're out there trying to achieve. I'm sure they will find that a lot of the time the police will be accepting of what they're aiming to do. They might be given advice, but I do believe that a lot of police would be accepting, with a few exceptions. I understand that there are a few real-life superheroes that get on quite splendidly with their local police, including the Initiative and the young man I am about to play you a clip of, the real-life superhero Impact. In my eyes, one of the brightest young sparks of the modern Rish movement, and I think you'll find his piece rather interesting. And he'll be coming to you right after this commercial break.
I want a super fro.
Get the blowout kit.
How about an afro puff?
Get the blowout kit.
And for a soulful cornrow?
Afro Sheen's blowout kit makes your hair softer, more lustrous, and easier to manage. Makes any style look better. And don't forget Afro Sheen's conditioner and hairdress, the best for conditioning and highlighting your hair.
And what do you want?
Nothing I can't get from Afro Sheen. Afro Sheen's blowout kit and conditioner and hairdress. Johnson's Afro Sheen, the largest selling products in the natural world.
Charlie and I were out the back when Vera and Dave came by and said, "Come along for a picnic." And I was going, but Charlie said, he said I better tell Mum where I'm going. So we told him to wait while we went and asked. But Mum was talking to the milkman. And she talked such a long time that when I had asked her and she'd said yes, the others had gone. Mum asked us why we hadn't gone, and when I told her, she said we'd been good for not going, and would we like a day out with her instead? Charlie says, always tell your mummy before you go off somewhere so she knows who you are with.
Thank you, Felix. And I would just like to say on a personal note, thank you for your kind words in your previous broadcast, placing me among some of the better RLSH in the community despite my newness, and honored that you placed me among such company as Razorhawk, who's a personal hero of mine, the Initiative, and of course the team that I'm currently working with, the Extreme Justice League. So even though I'm fairly new in this community, I think it's starting to become known that I've had a somewhat unique experience with my close relationship with the local police department. And I've had a few people question me about how that happened and how I went about forming that relationship. And I'm going to be honest that I pretty much fell into it. I didn't plan to start working with the police as closely as I do, or to have the relationship that I do with them. It just sort of happened. So I'm going to kind of give you the rundown, including things I did wrong and the things that I didn't screw up or did right. So at the very beginning, I did what a lot of people do. I just kind of threw on the costume, went out, and I was a little worried about the police. But once I'd seen a few cars drive by, I just assumed they didn't notice me or didn't care about me rather. Which I think for the most part they didn't until they started getting suspicious or calls about me being suspicious, which, I mean, I don't know how many of you remember my original suit. It was, this chest piece my normal chest piece, but pretty much all black. I was mostly basically a ninja, even though I was walking the street openly. It just was a poor design. So one night I got pulled over walking, and the officer was very nice about it, just said, just be careful, be open. So I worked on that. And then another time I had been pulled over a few months later. Sorry, I'm going to back up a minute. So I got pulled over by the officer at night, and when I talked to him about how to make things better, he suggested, lightening up my suit a little bit. So I added some blue trims to it, which I thought made it better, but it wasn't that much later. I was still wearing mostly black. So then maybe a month later, no, a few months later, I got pulled over by 3 cars with 4 officers. It was actually in the middle of the day, like 1 o'clock on a Sunday. I turned a corner and they were behind me. And it was one of these scarier moments in my life. I wasn't worried about being hurt. I was worried about going to jail. The officers were actually very nice, very accommodating. They did pat me down. They did check my backpack to make sure I was actually just giving out food to the homeless. But they were nice about it. And they requested 2 things. One, that I stop wearing the balaclava on the lower half of my face, and that I start calling my patrols. To me, that was also a sign that the black wasn't working. So that's when I actually went to my all-blue costume, the first variant of it, and then I updated it later. But anyways, but since then I've actually called in all my patrols. Called in at the beginning, and I call them in at the end, which I think the police appreciate. I tell them where I'm going to be, roughly how long I'm going to be there, and I tell them that I'm done. So that way they know if there is a call in that time, it's likely me. If there is a call after I said I'm done, it's not me. And I think they appreciate that. The other thing that happens is a lot of times they'll ask me for my phone number, and I will give them that because, frankly, they're the police. And if they want it, I'll give it to them because I don't feel like getting arrested while doing this. I'm just trying to be helpful. So on after doing all this, the police pretty much stopped bothering me because they knew I was out there. But there was one big patrol I was doing, which actually happened to be on my birthday. I was walking around, and a car pulled over, and the officer kind of waved me into a parking lot, and he got out, and we had a chat. He said he had gotten a call about me being out there, but like the previous officers, he was very understanding, very thankful for the fact that I was trying to be out there and helping. And the thing he told me is, he said not only did he appreciate what I was doing, he wanted to help. And he told me that his district, he wasn't from the district I was in, he was subbing in for the day. His district would collect donations for the homeless, but the homeless generally don't like dealing with the police. They'll run when they see them. So they were having trouble handing out these donations. So instead, this officer asked if I would be willing to work with them to help hand this stuff out. They would bring me around, basically give me a police escort, and show me different places to go in their district, which is one that I haven't been working in, and they would provide the handouts, and I would provide the manpower. And that was the first time that I had a police-sponsored handout, which was pretty awesome, because I don't think it was the first one in the community, but it's one of the it's a rare instance to have the police actively give us donations, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm new, I'm not a historian, I don't know everything that's happened. But from what I can tell, it's not a common thing. So because of that, I was able to do a handout with the police, and though I've only done one with them, we have plans to do a second or even a third over the next couple months. And another fun story, which I guess would be the final time that I've been pulled over, was just my previous patrol from this. I'd been walking, and I got a call on my cell phone because, like I said, if they ask for it, I'll give them my contact number. So I got a call from an officer who had said, they had missed me, and they were asking where I was going to be because they wanted to come and have a chat with me. So I told them where I'd be in about 10 minutes, and we happened to meet up. And so 2 officers get out of the car, and we start chatting, and they told me that they heard I was out and they really wanted to come meet me. And as we were talking, I mentioned getting the handouts from District 4 while I was in District 2, and they said, yeah, we know about that. We're from that district. We heard you were out, so we came here. Which to me was a really big honor, that these officers decided that that they wanted to meet me enough that they actually drove like a good 20 minutes to a different district to come talk to me. So, it's not a huge deal, but at the same time, it's a really it's a really nice gesture to me that they want to work with me enough. So I guess what I have to say is, make sure you call in ahead of time. This I guess is the final message to any RLSH out there listening. I guess most of the vets know this, but this to any newer RLSH like me, or just anyone who wants to do stuff like this. Call in ahead of time and let them know where you're going to be. Cooperate. If if the police ask you to do something, do it. We're in a day and age where there's all these news stories about people getting shot for nothing by the police. And why would you risk that over hiding in a mask? They're going to find out who you are if you're working in the open. So just be cooperative, and you'll get a lot more done. And maybe they'll provide you with handouts and support. So that's all I got to say on this one for now, I guess. I think I'm out of time, and I just want to say once again, thank you, Felix, and back to you.
Till after 10, then the answer is yes, I want to be bad. This thing is being a good little goody is all very well. What can you do if you're loaded with plenty of help? And bigger when you're learning what lips are for. If it's naughty to ask for more, let a lady confess I want to be bad.
And that was Jack Hilton with I Want to Be Bad. Again, there was some very interesting points made by Impact. His relationship with the police is a bit of a compromise, and you must be willing to compromise. Real-life superheroes must understand that the police are not there to pander to your needs. If anything, you are there to assist them. Now, Impact mentioned calling in his patrols, which I think is a superb idea. I'm along the lines of thinking that real-life superheroes should be monitored a lot more and accounted for. And I don't mean in an intrusive way. I mean that every superhero should have some sort of register at their local police station, so the officers in the local vicinity are aware of who's around in these costumes and masks. It's vital that real-life superheroes try to build a close and meaningful relationship with the police and help them at any chance they can without hindering them. Now, the initiative, as I mentioned earlier, I believe a few members of the initiative do police cadet training at an academy or something along those lines. Now, that is what I'm talking about. professionality, a touch of organisation. It's all very well and good just throwing on a mask and going out trying to help people, but you could be confused for a criminal. This is just nature. As it's been said in the past, wearing a costume is all good for fun, but it's hardly practical. Now, personally, I do believe that crime-fighting real-life superheroes should try and join the police or some kind of academy, some sort of security guard program, I don't know. But if you're going out to fight crime, it would make much more sense. Now, I think it's important to highlight that real-life superheroes need to make every effort to work with and contact their local police to assure that they're doing things within the law of their local community or state or province. Always follow the law. It's not worth breaking it. You're there to help people. You're not there to be a vigilante. Now, I have seen a handful of good real-life superheroes who promote their local police forces, work with them on occasion, people like Impact, the Initiative, of course, especially the California Initiative, the Forester Five, I believe there is a policeman amongst them, Onyx Owl from England, Phoenix Jones. Well, I don't know if Phoenix Jones actually works with police or if they just put up with him, to be honest. I'm not quite sure on that one. But yes, there's a few. I'd like to see a lot more. That fellow Master Legend, I believe he's been commended by police at one point. I know that the Eye, Jordan Moller, he seems to work very closely with police. Unfortunately, I didn't have many opinions sent in to me on this show. I do hope to interact with a few more people in future, and to see more people being involved. Now, I know I'm a villain, but I'm here for the greater good. I'm here to promote your community when I can. So, come on, get in touch. Send me some stuff, inbox me. I don't bite. I'd like to thank everyone who has taken the time to get involved. I'd like to thank everyone who's tuned in. If you've sent me in a recorded piece and it's not appeared on this show, it will be on a future show quite soon. Hopefully in the future, when I do decide to do another themed show like tonight, I will get more interaction from the community. I'm going to be playing one more song now to fade out my show, and that will be Schubert, Ave Maria. I'm Felix Smith. Good night.
That name you think you may have just heard, you were mistaken. If you ever mention hearing that name in this room, in this context, I guarantee you on behalf of the British Security Services, the materials will be found on your computer hard drives, resulting in your immediate incarceration. Don't reply, just look frightened and scuttle.
You handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.